The countdown to one of rugby's biggest rivalries has already begun, and the latest comments from former Springboks star Schalk Burger have added even more fuel to the anticipation surrounding next month's blockbuster test series between South Africa and the All Blacks. Rugby supporters around the world know that whenever these two giants meet, history is never far away. Every tackle carries meaning, every kick becomes a tactical statement, and every small mistake can decide the outcome of an unforgettable contest. This time, however, the conversation is centered around a strategy that completely transformed the balance of power the last time these teams met. According to Burger, there is every reason to believe that the Springboks will return with the exact same blueprint that helped dismantle New Zealand in Wellington, and if that prediction proves correct, rugby fans could be in for another tactical masterclass. Looking back at the previous encounters between these two nations tells an incredible story. The Springboks entered the first test at Eden Park hoping to make a statement, but the All Blacks proved why their home record has been respected around the rugby world for decades. New Zealand controlled important moments, defended with determination, and eventually secured a hard-fought 24-17 victory. While the result disappointed South African supporters, many observers noticed that the Springboks were still searching for the right combination and had not yet fully revealed their tactical intentions. Rather than panic after defeat, the coaching staff carefully analyzed every detail, identified weaknesses, and made significant adjustments before the second meeting. Those changes became immediately obvious when the teams arrived in Wellington. The Springboks introduced a refreshed lineup, but the biggest difference was not simply the personnel on the field. It was the way they attacked every phase of the contest. Instead of trying to outplay New Zealand through endless attacking movements, they targeted an area that many believed had been overlooked by previous opponents. They attacked relentlessly through the air. Every high kick forced uncertainty. Every contest challenged New Zealand's backfield organization. Every aerial battle created another opportunity for South Africa to apply pressure. At the center of that tactical shift was Manny Libbok, whose kicking game became one of the defining features of the match. Rather than using kicks merely to gain territory, Libbok delivered contestable bombs that allowed the Springbok chasers to compete aggressively. Those kicks repeatedly forced the All Blacks into uncomfortable situations. Instead of launching quick counterattacks, New Zealand often found themselves scrambling simply to secure possession. That pressure gradually shifted momentum completely in South Africa's favor. The final score of 43-10 shocked many rugby followers across the globe. Few expected such a dominant performance against one of the sport's most successful teams, especially on New Zealand soil. Yet the result was no accident. It reflected weeks of careful preparation, outstanding execution, and a willingness to attack an opponent's perceived weakness rather than simply relying on traditional strengths. That performance remains one of the most discussed tactical victories of recent international rugby, and it continues to influence conversations whenever these two nations prepare to meet again. That is precisely why Schalk Burger believes history could repeat itself. Speaking during the Boks Unpacked X The Verdict podcast, the former Springbok flanker explained that the All Blacks have not truly been tested under the high ball throughout their recent July fixtures. In his opinion, recent opponents have failed to challenge New Zealand in the area where South Africa enjoyed enormous success previously. According to Burger, matches against France and Ireland unfolded very differently. Those teams often relied on long tactical kicks that prioritized territory instead of sustained aerial contests. While those kicks certainly had strategic value, they did not consistently force New Zealand into repeated one-on-one battles beneath towering high balls. As a result, the All Blacks were able to organize themselves more comfortably and avoid the type of relentless pressure that the Springboks created in Wellington. That observation has become one of the most interesting talking points leading into the upcoming Test series. Rugby at the highest level is often decided by adjustments rather than complete reinventions. Coaches rarely abandon successful systems overnight. Instead, they refine proven methods while adding small improvements that keep opponents guessing. If South Africa believes its aerial strategy remains effective, there is little reason to expect a dramatic change in philosophy. Of course, New Zealand's coaching staff understands this just as well. They have spent months reviewing footage from Wellington, studying every mistake and identifying every opportunity for improvement. Since then, the All Blacks have introduced subtle tactical adjustments aimed specifically at strengthening their backfield defense. One of the biggest developments has been their response to recent changes involving escort rules during kick chases. Those law interpretations have encouraged teams to rethink how they protect receivers under the high ball, and New Zealand appears determined to adapt faster than anyone else. Rather than relying exclusively on traditional positioning, the All Blacks have increasingly used their retreating winger as the primary receiver whenever possible. This adjustment is designed to create cleaner catching opportunities while reducing confusion between multiple defenders. Early signs suggest that the system is beginning to work effectively. Young playmaker Ruben Love, making his mark at first 5/8, has looked calm and composed whenever called upon to field dangerous kicks. Meanwhile, established stars Will Jordan and Josh Morby have also shared much of the responsibility, providing additional security across the backfield. Even with those improvements, however, questions remain unanswered. Training ground success does not always translate into test match pressure. Catching a high ball during practice is one thing. Doing so while multiple Springbok forwards sprint toward you with perfect timing is something entirely different. The speed, physicality, and psychological pressure created by South Africa's chase line cannot easily be replicated outside elite international competition. That uncertainty is exactly what makes the upcoming series so fascinating. Neither side enters the contest without vulnerabilities. South Africa possesses immense physical strength, remarkable squad depth, and one of the world's most effective kicking games. New Zealand, meanwhile, continues to evolve its attacking structure, emphasizing long periods of possession, quick recycling at the breakdown, and patient multiphase rugby designed to stretch defensive systems until gaps inevitably appear. The clash between those contrasting styles promises to create one of the year's most compelling rugby spectacles. Will the Springboks once again dominate the skies and force New Zealand into uncomfortable territory? Or have the All Blacks finally developed the answers needed to neutralize the strategy that embarrassed them in Wellington? Those questions remain unanswered, but one thing is already certain. Rugby supporters across every continent will be watching closely as two of the sport's greatest rivals prepare to write another unforgettable chapter in their remarkable history.